everybody.
Hi. Jeff and Steph's.
Excellent.
Yeah, RV adventure.
Oh, yeah. Now, there's lots of different RVs, isn't there, Steph?
Yeah, and we just thought for you newbies out there, or if you're trying to decide maybe on what RV style is correct or right for you and your family, that we would go over some of the different styles we see out here on the road. There's so many.
Some are definitely better for full-time living versus weekend warriors, or in fact, I mean, you can go full-time in a car.
You could. Yeah. And some people do that.
It's a financial decision as much as a lifestyle decision.
You have to decide what's right for you. And, you know, sometimes this may require multiple RVs before you find the one that's your perfect RV.
Which happens to a lot of people right now, including
us.
Jeff and Steph.
Yeah, we started with a motorhome and decided we wanted to do fifth wheel life. So that happens a lot. A lot of times people start small and get a small travel trailer or like a Class C or Sprinter van and live the life a little bit and decide they want something larger and go to a motorhome or a fifth wheel. And the opposite happens too.
Yeah, for sure.
Where people have large toy haulers or something and just decide they don't need all the space and they want to go smaller.
Yeah. And in fact, our friends RV Love had some good advice on maybe renting an RV and get a feel for it. I mean, I don't know if you can you rent like fifth wheels? I know you can rent C's.
Sure. Yeah, but it is definitely something you might have to try out for a bit before you decide, you know, what's right for you. And that happens frequently.
Yeah.
We talk to people every day in this life that have changed their travel styles or their plans. And, you know, people, I hate to say it, once you RV, you usually never stick with your same RV. From what we're hearing, people have upgraded, downgraded, you know, whatever. But it seems there's a lot of RV swapping going on.
Yeah, and it's a huge decision maybe to get it right the first time if you can, just to avoid the financial hits of trading in a new RV like some people I know and getting another one.
For sure.
You might hit it good, you might not, but
yeah, there could be some losses in that transaction.
In this economy, it's hard to say what's going to work, what's not going to work. So,
but again, there's so many different styles, and it depends on what type of camper you are, whether you plan to do a lot of boondocking, or if you're an adventure person and likes to go off four-wheeling somewhere and up into the mountains, and you need something that can travel like that, because some of these big rigs do not handle those types of roads well.
Sure.
There's the gas versus diesel argument that's always going on, and we read forums, you know, I'm looking for a motorhome, should I get gas or should I get diesel? And the same goes with your tow vehicle.
For sure. Huge considerations. And you know, and then you have, like you were saying, off-grid types of folks that want to go up in the middle of nowhere, which is cool.
You have to be able to get there, and you have to have the right tow vehicle and camper to do so.
Right. Now, there's some people called glampers, which is us. And the reason we went with a fifth wheel is because it's akin to a small house.
Yeah, you have 350 square feet. You have the comforts of a home in it, as far as washer, dryers, and appliances you might need.
Maybe a king-size bed.
Yeah, but you know, there are lots of rigs out there, and they fit different lifestyles. So there's no, if you're trying to decide, really do your research. Maybe look inside of them, tour different RVs, go to lots, look in lots of them, get a feel for them. And
then there's like 4-season RVs, which are better, slightly better, in colder climates. And if you're in a warmer... If that's truly
a thing. Yeah, there's a lot of debate about whether any RVs are truly a 4-season RV.
They have an enclosed underbelly and maybe heated tanks, a little bit better insulation. That helps a lot.
Yes.
Or the opposite is true, where maybe you are in a warm climate and maybe you want 3 ACs or maybe at least 2.
Yeah.
Because comfort for the glamping folks is pretty paramount to sweating to death in a warm climate. So
just make sure to do your research and try out different rigs if you have the ability to do so. Again, the one you buy may not be the one you keep very long. Unfortunately, we've been RVing now for 3 years and we've had 3 different rigs. So be prepared. I mean, that's a thing that happens, and it happens to a lot of people we talk to.
And the debate goes on and on about what is a better brand versus a not so good brand, and that's up to your own personal research to find out, because even new, they have problems.
Yeah.
I don't really go with the whole COVID era RVs, because we've had 2.
Yeah, they were built
COVID era, and they've both been solid.
Yeah.
So, I would wager to say the older ones had problems as well.
Oh,
that
for sure.
Maybe it wasn't talked about so easily because of social media, and they're basically kind of built the same. It's not that they're built cheap; they're built light.
Yes.
And light means smaller gauge, everything from the siding to the windows to the
piping,
everything. Yeah,
it's not the same quality you're going to have in your sticks and bricks house. And just, if you know that going into it, you're not going to be disappointed. I mean, everything is made as well as it can be to drive down the road.
For sure, for sure. And you may get a lemon. You hear about that. You may not. But it's very important to do the maintenance and the upkeep on your RV. Travel at a safe speed. Make sure you're not overweight.
Yes.
There's a lot of factors involved in the whole thing. I mean, and it all goes back to what type of RVer are you? Are you a weekender? You're just going down to a state park from your house, which, you just need a little
the weekend
trailer.
warriors that are out there versus people that live in theirs full-time 24/7. We see a lot of rigs. We go to a lot of campgrounds. We see a lot that are 20, maybe even 30 years old.
All the time.
And, they've had maintenance done on them, and they're just chugging right along.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not saying that old versus new is a thing. It's what you're comfortable with, what you're able to maintain. And, if you have that knowledge, you can keep an old motorhome or travel trailer running for so long.
And here's another consideration that people may not take into account when they're RVing or looking to get into full-time living in particular, and that is the age of the RV. There is something called the 10-year rule, and it's not always enforced.
It's in campgrounds.
But we've been asked several times when booking,
what age is
your RV? And obviously it ends there because we have a new RV.
Yeah. We've heard of people being turned away because they've shown up at a campground and they say, oh no, this is too old.
Yeah.
And we also have friends that travel in a tiny house, and they were actually being turned away from a campground because
it wasn't
it was a house and not a camper, even though it was built on a fifth wheel base, correct? So they had to argue the point that, this is an RV for them.
And sometimes people will ask for pictures at campgrounds, just a couple of pictures. That's usually good enough.
Be prepared for it if you have to email some photos or something to prove your rig. Oh my.
Sorry about that.
Growling dog back there. So we hope this video helps you figure out maybe what type of RV to look at or what's good for you. And there's other styles out there. This isn't the limit right here. There's so many different types.
We're surprised when we see RVs we've never seen before in 2 years.
New
we
ones,
still see
new brands, new styles.
We've never heard of.
Yeah.
And another consideration, if you're going to take an older RV, and we've done this, and fix it up, you do the whole inside, it's beautiful, We've seen a lot of people do these conversions where they just rip out all the old stuff and they make a nice
And
modern
we did that with our
RV
motorhome.
on the
But
inside.
you have to make sure the outside's as decent as the inside.
Don't skimp on the outside, and
Yeah.
that can include painting or new decals.
Yeah.
And on Amazon you can get new decals
kits,
for
yeah.
any RV, and we've seen some that basically were older and they put on new decals,
New paint jobs.
waxed them up, and they
Yeah.
look good.
Yeah, they do. And so, you may think, oh, I have this great RV. I totally redid the inside of it. Yeah, it's 20 years old. Well, if the outside looks like it's 20 years old, you're not helping your case, even though the inside may be fabulous.
Yeah.
So just give it some love, and,
For sure.
hopefully those campgrounds will see it as that and let you stay there.
And one other small consideration is that when you take your RV to a campground and it's the 10-year rule, I wouldn't really worry too much if it's 12 years old. Because as far as I know, they're not going to say, let me see that registration. I want to make sure you're only 10 years old. I mean, we can all tell when an RV is 20 years old.
Yeah.
But we see lots of RVs, especially motorhomes, that you'd swear are brand new or less than 5 years old, and they'll say it's 18 years old, and and again, this goes with the upkeep. The upkeep's
maintenance
important.
of it, and keeping
yeah.
it looking nice
looking
and running
good.
well, and
Keep it running good, and you'll get by a lot of those restrictions in campgrounds if they're telling you 10 years. If it looks good, it's probably not going to be a problem. So there's that.
So we're going to show you a little slideshow here of different RVs we've seen in our travels. And if there's something we missed, let us know. I think the only thing we couldn't get a video of are like a bus conversion. We've seen lots of school buses and schoolies, and buses have been converted. So that's another one that's always on the tip of people's minds.
And I have a friend who wants to do a conversion. He's really up for doing a conversion. And I reminded him that they don't regularly allow bus conversions in campgrounds.
Yeah, we've seen that rule a
The
lot.
biggest reason we know that is because we just don't see them in campgrounds. We see them on the road, especially in the South and the West. We see them on the road. But we rarely see them in campgrounds. So if you're going to go that route, you're probably going to have to do a lot of
be off grid.
State parks, I don't think is a big deal as much with those, but it's something to consider because we think school bus conversions are super cool.
Yeah.
And we get it.
And some are just beautiful.
Yeah,
so,
they're just beautiful.
And at one point, we had the idea we might want to do one too. So it is a thing, and we are aware of it. We just haven't seen any lately, so we didn't have that video to include in this. So we just wanted to put that out there. But we hope you enjoy this little slideshow of rigs.
Yeah, we enjoy walking around campground and seeing what everyone's traveling in and talking to fellow RVers and how did they decide to buy their particular RV?
Yeah, let us know in the comments
Everybody
if
has a
this has
story.
happened to you guys, whether you started out with something small and went larger, or reverse and, went from a huge fifth wheel to, something small. We'd love to hear your story on that. It's interesting to us, and, we talk to other RVers all the time about, how long have you had your rig and why did you pick this one? And, it's interesting to hear people's ideas and thoughts.
Yeah. And strive to create something or buy something that is home.
Yeah,
and
makes you happy. That's
happy,
what it's all about.
It's your happy space, and you'll love the life that much more. If you buy something that's not really fitting,
conducive to you and your lifestyle,
it's
makes
gonna
it a struggle.
It's gonna end up being a struggle, and you're gonna be searching for another RV, and it's fun, but it's not.
No one wants to lose money and go through the whole process of buying and selling. It's, it's never fun.
For sure. So we got a great little slideshow here
coming
up.
Enjoy the rigs we've seen on some travels. And again, let us know your story, whether you've gone larger or smaller in your RV life and why you chose to do so.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Jeff and Steph's.
Excellent. RV,
And
choosing.
choosing adventure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Safe travels, everyone.
See you guys.
Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there are diesel-powered Class A motorhomes. There are gas-powered Class A motorhomes. There are super fancy custom painted motorhomes. There are Class A motorhomes that are also toy haulers, like the Outlaw. There are vintage motorhomes. There are standard Class Cs. There are extended Class Cs that are larger than standard. There is a hybrid B plus style motorhome. It's a mix between a Sprinter van and a Class C.
There are Class B Sprinter vans.
Or like we like to call them, adventure wagons. There are fifth wheel style travel trailers. There are fancy custom painted fifth wheels. There are toy hauler type fifth wheels. There are travel trailers, large ones and smaller ones, and some that have a retro style to them. There are piggyback type truck campers. There are teardrop style campers. There are retro small travel trailers. There are truck campers made for off-grid living. There's a pop-up style camper. There are trailer conversion RVs. There are casita style molded trailers. There are these adventure trailers that are definitely four-wheel drive with bigger tires.
And there's the classic Airstream.
Yes.
There are very unusual RVs like this Cricket. And there's Alliance Paradigm like ours.
Yeah.